Here we go. All right, we're going to click on IED practice. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to use the, uh, oop. Okay, waiting on an announcement. Create a document. I'm going to teach you guys how to use the revolution command or revolute. And then I'm also going to try to teach you guys how to use the sweep command. Sweep is a little bit more tricky, but it'll be okay. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and just kind of get an idea for how this works first. So let's call this revolute and sweep practice. Okay, revolute and sweep practice and hit OK. Revolute and sweep practice. We're going to make some. First thing that we need to do is try to get an understanding of what revolute does. If you look up in the top, right next to extrude, there is another button that looks like the letter C. That is not the letter C. That, if you hold your mouse over it, it says revolve. Okay? So sometimes you'll hear it called revolute. Sometimes you'll hear it called revolution. In OnShape, it's just called apparently revolve. Okay, so what we're going to do is we can't just immediately use this. We have to do a revolve command to a sketch. So we need two things in order for this to occur. We need the sketch, and we need the thing that the sketch is actually going to be going around. So you got to think about this as a little bit different. It's not extruding outwards, it's extruding in a circle. So if you make a shape, it will actually like twist that shape around. So to kind of let's use a really simple shape to kind of show you how that works. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to click create sketch and we're going to make a box. Okay, this is a really simple shape to do. So I'm going to click the top view and let's make a 4x2 box. So I'm going to click and let's make it wide this way. So 4 enter, 2 enter. Okay, this is the first thing that we need. And then we're going to click OK. All right. Now, we can use the X and the Y axis as the place where it's going to rotate around. So you can use these for your revolution geometry. And instead of having to make a new sketch, you could always just use that. Um, what's the what? 4x2. It's a 4x2 rectangle. And then what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to, and I may have lied to you about this part. So normally you can like find an axis line. So we're going to click the revolve command and we're going to try to do this without an extra line. And I could be lying, but let's try this. I'm going to click revolve and I'm going to click on the shape itself. Okay. And then we also notice how there's a red border that comes up here that says revolve axis. Okay. We need an axis to revolve it around too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to look for a revolve axis, and I'm looking for something that highlights. And I don't immediately see anything off the top of my head. So you could use one of the lines of the square, and if you use one of the lines of the square, it will revolve around that particular point. So click the bottom line, and then click the green check mark, and then go to 3D view. Did it work for you? Okay, glad it worked for y'all. It didn't work for me. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to click revolve. I'm going to click the shape, and then I'm going to click the little red box for the revolve axis, and then I'm going to click the line. There it goes. Okay, so click the red box and then click the line. And what that does, and see what happens, it takes your rectangle and it takes the line that you selected and it sweeps it around in a circle. So you just made a cylinder using a box. Okay, you just made a cylinder using a box. And if you wanted to go the other way, it would make a different cylinder. So if I go backwards and I say, I want to use the revolution command or the revolve command, and I click on the solid, click on the axis, the red box, and then click on the actual axis itself. If I click on this line, it makes the rectangle sweep around that direction. So it's always rotating around that particular line. Okay? Now, you don't have to just use the shape itself, though. So if I go back into the sketch, which I'm going to do, so I've got to revolve 1 and 2. There we go. I'm going to edit my sketch, and I'm going to make a line down here on the axis, and I'm going to make it a construction line because it's not really a part of my shape. So I'm going to just, it doesn't matter how big this line is, but make sure that you right-click it and click construction, so that it knows that it's not really like actually a part of our shape. That way it doesn't get confused. You can, so I'm going to hit the green check mark for that one too. And no, you don't need, I'm only deleting, I only went backwards from the revolve, so I'm just going back to the sketch. Okay, and if you click on revolve and then the shape, when you click the axis, it doesn't have to be connected to the shape. So I could use this axis as well too, and it makes a cylinder with a hole in it. Okay, so instead of having to do extrude a cylinder and then extrude another hole and cut it in there, you can actually make a cylinder and a hole with it with just one operation. You don't need 2 operations. You can just use one. Okay, and that is another way to create a cylinder. This kind of looks like a washer or a spacer. So I'm going to click the green check mark so that everybody's good. It doesn't have to be a rectangle as well. You can pick any shape that you want to, and this is where the revolve command becomes really, really powerful. So I'll go ahead and I'll keep this one here for an example for you guys. Hit the plus sign and create a new part. I'll show you guys how to do this with like sketches instead too. So I'm going to go back to a new part, and I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to go to the top, and then top view. Which part? You gotta, you can't just say, you gotta help me. You gotta give me some kind of indication upon where you are or what clarification you need. You made the line? Okay, yeah, you're good. You're good then. No, I just made a new part. I didn't delete the square. I left that up there for a reference for you guys. See, if I go back to Part Studio 1, it's totally still there for us. Got the little circle. Okay. But on the next one, we go to the top view, and I'm going to, let's say I want to make like, I'm going to use the line tool, and I'm going to make like a line and a line, and I'm going to show you guys something else. Okay. There is some other ways that we can actually create some lines, and one of those is called a spline. So over here, you can use the spline tool, and instead of actually making a straight line, you can make a curve. Okay? And then as you click around, it'll actually kind of curve around, and the more clicks you make, the more it tries to like curve into a natural position on where it is. Okay, so you can use the spline tool as well. So I'm going to go spline, and I'm going to just make like a couple of clicks here to make like a nice smooth shape like this. Okay, then I'm going to hit escape. Whenever you got everything that you need, hit escape. And then I'm going to make a line, and I'm going to connect them from the left side to the right side. So you'll have a shape, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. Just kind of make any kind of shape. It could be irregular, could be, it doesn't matter. Um, Try something out. And then we're going to hit the revolution command. Make sure that it actually shows up in gray like this, though, because when it shows up in gray, that means that your shape is enclosed. If it's still white inside, that means that you haven't finished making the shape yet. So make sure that it's gray all the way through. I'll give you a little bit of time to kind of make that. Um, then you can either use the revolution command around it, or you can create another line to make it revolve around. Since I'm trying to make a solid object here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use this line as what it's going to revolve around. So I'm going to use this as my revolution line. It's the black line for the digital kids, and it's going to rotate around, like out of the screen and then back up into the screen. Okay? Yeah, what's up? Make sure you hit the green check mark after you do the line. So like go ahead and connect them. Yep. Connect, connect. Okay. Yep. 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 Okay. Yep. Now hit it. Yeah. Okay. I think I understand what's going on. So the order is important. So whenever you click on it, let's go back into our sketch and edit it. So we're going to go click, and we're going to go click down, and then we're going to click across like this. And then when we're done with that, see how it makes a solid shape? Yours wasn't doing that. You want to make sure that whenever you're using the spline tool, when you're finished, before you click the green check mark, hit escape and then hit the green check mark. Okay. Yeah, looks reasonable to me. So once you guys get your shape, go ahead and revolve it. So hit the green check mark and then go to some kind of three-dimensional view and then hit the revolve command and go shape, axis, click on the axis and get it to rotate around. And you're going to create some kind of shape. Okay. Notice that this isn't like, this isn't a square. This isn't a cube. This is not really a shape that I can really describe. Maybe it kind of looks like a top or an arrowhead or something like that. But depending on what kind of shape you guys made and then you revolved it, you can make basically any kind of round shape that you want to using the revolve command. Okay? Seem reasonable? These will be really helpful to you guys. It's also worth noting that these shapes that you guys are making right now, if you tried to 3D print these shapes, it wouldn't really work. Because if you're trying to 3D print something, it has to have a flat base to start off of, or else it's going to just print a bunch of supports on the bottom, and you're going to have to do a lot of cleanup to make it look pretty. Okay, so can you do it? Yeah. Is it going to be easy? Not really. That'd be like hard mode for 3D printing. Yep. If it deleted itself, so if you're in Revolve and the Revolve didn't work, go ahead and try it again for me. Like try the command again. I want to see what it's doing. So click the shape. Yep. And now click Revolve axis and click on the. Oh, I see what's happening. It's disappearing because your shape is revolving in on itself. You see how this line is going in there? You can't have a shape on both sides like fold in on itself. It's like the shape is literally colliding with itself. So make that line go like down like that so that when it revolves, it will revolve around that like that. Does that make sense? Yeah, it can't collide around itself or else it won't work. Yep. That looks good. Did it work? Did you make a line that goes from here to here? Because I don't see it. I don't see it being gray. No, whoa, whoa. Right click on edit sketch. Don't make a new sketch. Yeah, right click on edit sketch, and then make a line that goes and connects the two to each other. You should get a gray filled in shape. That's the computer letting you know that, hey, this is a shape and I recognize it. So green check mark, try it now. Should work out okay. That one looks good. Reasonable. Reasonable. Very nice. Okay. You good? Do what? Yours is not saving. What do you mean? Oh, you know what? It only works whenever I come around, right? So it's yeah. And then every time I walk around, it just like instantly, amazingly works. Okay, y'all ready for sweep? Okay, make a new part. So click part, create part studio, and I'm making a new part. Sweep is a little bit different because what Sweep does is it takes the sketch that you have and it makes it follow a path. It's like a line tracking mode. So like instead of actually just extruding out, it's extruding along a path that you set. So we can make a path and we can extrude along that path. That means that we're going to need two sketches though. So here's what we're going to do. On the first sketch, go to the front side. I know this is different. Go to the front side and create a sketch on the front. Okay, and we're going to make a curved spline. So, and the main reason I'm showing you guys this is that whenever you're using sweep and stuff like that, it's important to get these kind of curved designs. So I'm going to just like make it kind of zigzag like this around a little bit. So we've got a little bit of zigzag going on here. When I've got it where I want it to, I'm going to go ahead and just hit escape. So I've got this like twisty, spliny thing. I don't really know. That's not a line. It's just some kind of curve. Okay. You could argue with me and then be like, well, Mr. Broadway, aren't all straight, or aren't all lines, uh, like a curve counts as a line? I'm like, yeah, technically, but it's not a straight line. Totally not a straight line. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, if you got that spline, hit the green check mark and be like, hey, I'm happy with this one. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our 3D view by just clicking on this corner of the cube, and we're going to go to make a new sketch. And we're going to click sketch, and we're going to click on the top this time. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to the top view. So we should, ooh, it actually might be better this time to go ahead and keep it 3D, because what we're going to need is we're going to create a circle, and we're going to create a circle starting at this point right here. Okay, wherever you guys started your line, hopefully you started it on the top axis. If you didn't, that's still okay. Just we're going to make our sketch right here to begin. So I'm going to create my circle, and then I'm going to click on the bottom part, and I'm going to make my circle come out. I don't know. The radius or diameter isn't really super important, so we're just going to click on that number. I don't know what it is, so just make it whatever size you want. Okay, and then we're going to hit the green check mark. So we should have two different sketches here. You should have a spline that goes out this direction, some little curvy thing, and then you should have a circle down at the bottom. Okay. If you want to do it without minimum chances of error, you definitely want them to be connected to each other. Okay. Now we're going to hit the next thing over here is called sweep. So did you start your sketch on, whenever you sketched at the front, did you start it on the axis like this? Okay, so like if you did not start on the axis like this, whenever you sketch on the bottom, they're not going to meet together because you didn't indicate a point for them to meet together. In order for them to meet together, you would have to put in some kind of reference point for them to meet. So that's why I actually made one sketch on the top, and I stopped the sketch down here, and then I had my circle made on the top view so that they could actually meet together. That makes our life easier. And if you're dealing with a piece of geometry, or if you're dealing with like a 3D sketch of an object, you can make sketches on those objects and it's easier to reference. We just don't have anything that we're building on here. This is the first part of our shape, which is generally not the best idea. You don't want to start with a sweep. You normally want to do that later. Okay, so I'm going to hit sweep. And then I'm going to hit the, let's see, what does it say? It says faces and sketch regions to sweep. So we are going to click on the circle because that is what we're going to try to sweep. And then this red box is going to come up and say, hey, what is our sweep path? This is the place that it's going to follow. So you click on sweep path and click on that sketch that you made, and it's going to go whoop, all the way up, hopefully. There it goes. Okay, so hit the green check mark, and you now have a three-dimensional design that goes in that direction. My spline was a little bit too steep, so my cylinder doesn't keep the same all the way through, but you get the general idea. Okay, this would be, now if your shape disappeared, okay, listen guys, if your shape disappeared, that means that there was some kind of collision that happened. So if you made your radius of your cylinder too big, then if it's sweeping around, your cylinder can interact with your cylinder and they'll hit up against each other. And to the computer, it just says no, and it just makes it invisible. Okay? Because the computer really doesn't like to put two things in the same place. Just kind of like real life. It's not a good idea to put two things in exactly the same place. Okay? I can't put this weight and this Lysol can in the same place. I can put them close to each other, but I can't put this weight inside the Lysol can. Okay. Like, I mean, I could try, but it's not going to go well. You know what I mean? So you can't really put two things in the same place. If you do, bad things are going to happen. And the computer pretty much says the same thing. It says if you try to put this stuff in the same place, bad things are going to happen. So let's try to avoid that if at all possible. Please and thank you. Oh, it broke. There we go. Let's see. Questions, comments, concerns, donations? No? Okay, so here is what I need from you guys. Here's what we're going to practice on. I want you to make me a picture frame. So create a new part, and I want you to make, either using the sweep command or the revolution command, I want you guys to try to make a picture frame. Okay. Yeah, and it could be like, I'm leaving this open, you know what I mean? I do want you to try to use the sweep command for it. Yeah, I do try to want you to do that, but or revolution. If you could do it with revolution too, that'd be great as well. Um, and I just want you to make a picture frame. So I'm not gonna put anything here. I'm just gonna leave it blank for the moment, and I'm gonna let you guys have a chance to kind of explore. Just be creative. Okay, play around with it. See what you can make. Digital people, if you want to make one, send them to me and share it with me. Otherwise, this is what we're doing for today.